Hello everyone, I'm your host The Unyielding. Welcome back to another video. Sorry I've been gone for a while. Been pretty busy with work. Haven't had much motivation for the game, but you know, might as well try to make a video, get something out today. So today we're going to be going over something I've wanted to do for a little bit. Going to be going over the sandbox and bot making guide. I've made a lot of bots. It's something I enjoy doing. You can see I got the whole Nocturella set here. That was really fun to make. So I think I've got a good grasp on what you need to do to make a good bot, and I kind of want to give that information out. So of course we go right in here to our sandbox page, go to our little about menu. So cool thing about sandbox, it lets you use any of the custom weapons. So say there's no coins, no ranking, so you're really just fighting for fun, and this is one of the best modes because you can create your own opponents. These are custom enemies you can make. After that you can upload it, send it to the Ironlights Discord where people can use it. They'll give you a little code you can punch in and people can download it. I know some stuff isn't too balanced in here, but it's whatever. You just gotta make it balanced. So when we are in this menu, you'll see it's the same kind of page as our replay menu, just a little bit more scrunched down. What it'll show you is your opponent name, code. It'll show you the weapons and colors, and if it's your bot, you'll have edit and a trash can. And if I can find someone else's bot, it'll show you just the trash can to delete the bot, and it'll tell you what day you added it on, what weapon, like that. So the tabs you'll have in here, you'll have your download button. These are some custom bots that people made in the past, the featured bots. It hadn't really been updated in a while, so it'll just be the same bots that were on there for a while. You can't really get them featured now, but here's where you'll punch in that 4-digit code for a bot. I might have actually punched in, okay, so I punched an actual bot code there for a sec. But for creating an actual bot, what you'll want to do is you'll want to hit the create new fighter button. This will give us a fighter menu. Let's just do something quick. Let's go, I don't know, let's go to Darius. So what it'll give you is a whole menu here of all your weapons. You got your two-handed weapons, there'll be stuff like your Knight Great Sword, and you'll be able to hold these, just see what they look like. You got a lot of your custom weapons, like your Crescent, some of your glaives, they'll follow your hands. Just weapons you wouldn't really be able to find. Of course you can go stuff like Rapier, your normal weapons, but you can also use like a tower shield with it or something. You know, like a Crusader Flail, like a round shield. Really anything. You got a bunch of options. For the sake of this, we're just gonna go with something simple. So we'll just go with like a katana and wakizashi. Of course, you can only have 2 of the weapons here, so if you select like a two-handed weapon, you won't be able to select an offhand at all, so we'll kind of balance that out. Let's go back to katana wakizashi. So after that, it'll take you into this menu here. It'll give you a little mirror, like you're making your own character. You can see your weapons, and it'll just give you all your armor choices. So, of course, you can go through everything. This is just where you customize it, so you're able to see, who you're making. I guess we'll just go for something nice and simple here. And the color combos are, you got a bunch of options. I'd try and make something that looks pretty nice. And then from here, can change their defensive skill. This will change how well the defending AI is when you're attacking them. You do block more hits. And this will change... So for like Ironlights bots, the big thing they do is their AI kind of picks what they're going to do every attack from this slider. So let's say I had it set to like 70% range, 30 melee. It would be prioritizing more range attacks off of that little randomizer than it would melee. And then here, if I had it bumped up, it would do more melee than ranged, which is usually what I like to be at. I like to be around 90 to 10 or 80 to 20. You don't really want too many range attacks unless it's a range focus bot, but even if it is a range focus bot, you can still do the range attacks in melee so that it's not getting interrupted. And you can change your weather stage here. You can change it from any of the ones you have, like a sandstorm or snowstorm, whatever the hell you want. So we'll just set this one to the base for ease of viewing. So yeah, once you get in here, you'll have your ready to record. It'll give you all your tips. You'll go for your B button on your controller. That'll start the recording. Big thing, leave this little extra second so that there is a little bit of buffer time in between your animations. So say if you had 2 animations, it would go like you'd do something like be in the middle of the swing and it would just cut back to your idle if you don't have that buffer. So it just keeps it all smooth. Try not to lose tracking or anything. Try to be in the middle. So for your idles, see we have this big list of your idle, intro, your taunt, your no weapon, charge, melee, and ranged. For these idles, you only want to do like 1 or 2 idle attacks. Or not attacks, sorry. Idle stances. The issue is if you use too many idols, it won't really look good with your melee attacks. Reason why that is for your melee attacks, you usually want to start from like an idle position. So let's say our idle position for the character is going to be something like this. We'll press B, it'll give you a countdown, it'll start recording, hit B again and it'll stop, and we can play back. So that's the thing we just did. You can stop reviewing, which will give you a ready to record, given we didn't accept that one, so we'll do it again. Stop. Then we can either reject it, which will trash it, play it back like we just did, or we can accept it, which will bring it in as one of our new attacks. I don't actually know how that happened. It didn't show both, so we'll do the same thing for this one, except this time we'll just toss in a little movement. And then we'll go for another idle stance. I don't usually like doing 2, so I'll do just the one right here, and I'll do 2 smaller idle stances. And I'm not going to make them too big of a difference, so we'll just go up like this. If you have too big a difference on the idles, it'll look really weird with your melee, so I try not to make them too crazy. And for your intro, this is when you first get up here. Basically, you'll grab your weapons, so do your little flourish or whatever kind of intro attack you want. Basically, you'll see, go up, grab the weapons, do your intro flourish, make them look cool, do whatever you need to do, and then go into your idle stance. So that once that intro finishes, it'll go into idle and he'll be ready to start. One cool thing you can do with these intro attacks is once you get it, because of how the sandbox countdown works, What you can do is hold down the charge button and then cancel your attack, or stop it, so that once the match starts up, it'll be like 3, 2, 1, and then you'll just charge up immediately. Your bot will charge up its energy bar. For your taunts, they'll throw these out occasionally during the match, but most of the time they'll also play these if they kill you. So if the bot kills you at the end of the match, they'll do these taunts. So go something like this. Sheath their weapons. And we'll go back into our idol. You can see it just did a little thing. Sheath them. Clap for the opponent. Just any kind of taunt, really, you know? It doesn't even have to be a taunt, it could just be something cool. It's called a taunt, but you can really do just any kind of fancy move, flourish, whatever you want. I mean, you can really be creative with this stuff, so it gives you a lot of room to work with. They shouldn't be too long. Should only be about 4 to 6 seconds. The time on this is actually pretty correct. And you can bump these up past 6 or 1 or 3. It'll show up gray when you have too many, and you won't be able to make any more. But you can put quite a few more of these in to give it a little bit more diversity. So for your no weapon idol, this is basically when you're coming up, fighting your opponent, or before they have their weapons. So for sandbox, when you put these codes in, the bots they don't come up from here, you just are here. So what you'll basically be doing is just sitting here. So let's say this guy hasn't gotten his weapons yet. His hands are down by his side. So he's kind of just standing. And what this will do is it'll go into no weapon idol, into the intro. So he'll just be doing these kind of idle stances until he gets to his introductory stage, and then you won't ever see the no weapon idols again until he starts back up. For your charge up, it's just a charge, so basically you just charge up your health bar. This is when he does his charges. So press your charge buttons and then stop the animation. Go into our other idle stance here for a second. The big thing you should do, change up the amount of charge on each one. You want small charges, like a medium charge and a big charge. Let's review that. Make sure. Okay. But you'll want a couple different lengths and amounts of charge for each part. So these are your melees. So it's not going to defend when you attack, but still try and throw in feints or wherever you can. We'll just record some basic animations here. This will literally just be you attacking your opponent. We're going to feint to the right here. Go for a little voodoo here. And then we'll finish off with 2 ranged attacks. And then when we hit playback, he'll do the same attacks we just did. And this is kind of how you can review if your attacks are pretty good or not. Of course, you'll always want to bring them back to the idle, and you'll want to start from idle. So So start from your idle animations. That wasn't a very good attack, so what we're going to do, you see how it kind of spun there, so we're going to go back and reject it. It wasn't good enough. Alright. We'll just go into our range attack here for a sec. And basically this will be just throwing out range attacks, so you won't be able to go into melee while doing this. And we'll go back to melee here. What I want to show is that with range attacks, if you do them while in melee, the opponent you won't be able to interrupt them like you usually can. Like say when you fight a bot and they throw out a range attack or they're doing a range combo, if you throw your own ranged, sometimes they'll just stop like doing range attacks and go do a defensive animation. When they're doing a melee animation and you just do range attacks during that, the opponent doesn't actually try to defend those, so you can just the bot will keep throwing out range attacks while you're throwing your own, which is pretty neat. For the melee, you can also charge up during this, and you can throw out range attacks, so you can bring in some pretty cool combos on that. And a big thing you want to look for when making these bots is thinking about personality. I know this is a pretty big thing. Like it says, think about how your character stands. Basically, what personality does this bot you're trying to have? What does it have? Like, is it aggressive, calm? You really need to bring the feeling out of that bot. Like, let's say, I could do something completely different here. What we'll do is we'll go and put the Wakizashi down. So I can experiment with the katana, but what we're going to do is do two different attacks and just have different feelings put into them. So here we'll go for something calmer, like a sheath stance. Go in. Do a parry, back, parry, sweep under, go back. And we'll cancel that, so you can see doing nice calm attacks on this one. Everything seems pretty calculated. And then for this next one, what we're going to do is go for a little bit more of like an aggressive stance. So a lot of movement, spin, a lot of movement, charge up, go back in, just a lot more high energy on that one. You see it goes in, spins. Just the energy is a lot different between those two attacks. So, how you give your character that personality is how it'll feel when the opponent's fighting them. Another big thing, if you're making custom bots without Ironlights music, this is a big thing that people do on the Discord, that I've done on the Discord. Let's go here, we'll just go with some Dark Souls stuff as an example. Maybe not, we don't have it, so we're not going to do that. But let's say if we did have some kind of just music playing, something else. What you'll really want to do is go with the tempo of that music that you're listening to. Like, let's say you're listening to something, and we'll switch to a greatsword here. We can switch up our weapons while we're editing this as well. let's say if you're listening to something like, I don't want to keep going back to Dark Souls here, but some slowish, you'll just want to go with the tempo, like the pace of that music. Bring the feeling of the music into the bot and how it moves. And it'll give it a lot more like a authentic feel. Kind of bring the personality out of the music you're putting in is really how you can make a very good bot. The big thing, the attacks don't have to be good. Like, they don't have to be like champion level attacks for the bot to be good. All it needs to be is smooth. As long as that bot is smooth and your transitions are good, you'll be fine. Like, let's go back to that Katana Wakizashi so it can keep those same attacks, but we'll go back. Let's turn our music back on real quick so it's not sitting in silence. We'll go back to Sandbox, we'll go into this one here, we'll pick a rapier, I don't know. This will just give us one rapier. See, he does our little intro attack. So do his introduction. And you'll see he did that charge up we put in. He goes from his idle into his attack. Of course, these attacks are always going to be as hard as you make them, so... And he finishes off the little range. You can see here it goes into his charge up, and then goes into that one attack we did. This is the one we did where the kind of more energetic attacks. You'll see he goes back into his idle there and starts doing a range attack. And this is with his 100% defense, so this is the most you'll get out of your defense most of the time. So you'll see how everything looks smooth. There's not really any jankiness between that. Everything kind of flows together very well. And it makes for a lot more of an enjoyable fight. When you're not, you know, seeing the janky animations like that. That's what I was saying about the two idle animations and why I don't like going between them. It'll get a little bit janky. See, he does a little taunt occasionally. What I'll do, I'll let myself get killed so you can see what they do after. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple process to learn. Just gotta make him smooth. See how he did a little taunt there? And then he should just switch back into his idle animations and maybe throw in a taunt or two. So it's just going between those idles. That's why I don't like doing the multiple idles. I just like doing the one, because they'll switch between them and it doesn't look as good. I like it consistent, you know? Like, say you're fighting an enemy in a game, they're not going to be switching up that idle stance constantly. They're going to have that same idle, and that's what gives them that kind of feel. We'll fight a bot that I actually made before. Just show what a fully done sandbox bot will look like, done well. I think the best example of it will probably be this one here. I know I did a video on it before. This one probably has some of the most smooth animations for the bots I've done. This one's definitely fun to make as well. I think I had a YouTube short on it. That wasn't the best, but I think this character kind of has a good bit of energy behind them. You can really feel it in how they're mixing up the attacks as well. course, this one's on 100% defense as well. And you can really see how fluid the attacks move together. Going fluid into idle, into another attack. That's the important thing about keeping those idle animations the same. That's the thing, if you're not attacking, do idle. I think for this one I had like 2, maybe 3 idles, which made it a little bit messy in some parts, but I think it was a little bit too few for it to be really crazy bad. As they're getting low, they don't really have an opportunity to charge up, so we can just go in and take it. And it'll give you the option to save your replay and stuff, so coins, no trophies, but it'll give you the option to save replays. I really think that should about cover it, so hope y'all enjoyed it. I mean, I hope this gave you guys something. I'd love to see the Ironlights bots come back for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's about all I got for today, so I really hope you guys got something out of that. Hope you enjoyed watching. As always, I've been your host, The Unyielding, and I will see you guys next time.